The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on NewsRadio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Well, we're back into it, and we're back at it. You found The Local Show right here on 570 WSYR. If you're on the FM dial, it's 106.9 FM.
So Tom,
yes.
You're on a I know you're not a fan of bridges.
No.
What if you're on a train
bad.
Going over the bridge? Would that bother you?
Well, I guess if I didn't look. I don't want to know. Just get me over it.
You know, someday we should do like a fundraiser and have Tom walk over the Thousand Islands Bridge.
Ooh, I did when I was a kid.
And people to give money. We'll have a GoPro on your head or something.
No, it wasn't the Thousand Island Bridge. It was that Peace Bridge.
Is that the one? The one
down in right Wellesley Island. That's the Thousand Island.
That was the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the other one. The other one's down in Niagara Falls.
Oh, that's nothing.
What do you mean? That's nothing. Believe me, if you fell from it,
there goes Tom over the falls.
That would be something. So, folks, you can also see us on YouTube. Those YouTube people will also see. We have a guest in the room with us, and it's Rick Gary. So Rick Gary's in the back. Rick Gary is my mentor. I call him my mentor. He may
He's
call
not
me,
older than you, is he?
He may call me other things. But back when he was a morning guy and I was just going to college, I said, geez, I need, do you think I could stop by? And he was the only one who let me in the building.
That's a good deal.
I had to make him coffee, eggs.
Sorry.
Look
what you started.
I'm sorry,
It started my many decades of cataclysmic failures from there. So here I am. But yes, it's good to have Rick along and his dog Ringo.
Oh yeah, I told him he can't come. He can't stop by unless he has Ringo.
Well-behaved dog. I'm used to my dogs would terrorize this place.
Yours are like
be chewing on the
leg. Yours are the
leg.
dogs on the Christmas Story. The bumpers and smelly dogs. That's yours.
Yes. All right. It's good to bring back Dr. Andy Drozd, and I'm saying that right?
Drozd.
Drozd, yes. President and CEO of Andro Computational Solutions, LLC. He was here talking about the Fibonacci project, I guess you would call that, right?
Yeah, it's the Project Fibonacci Foundation, which is kind of like our nonprofit arm.
Excellent. But you're a pretty big deal. We found out last time you are a doctor of education.
Well, no, it's research, actually.
Research, okay.
It's scientific research, and the work that I do really is looking at the intersection of wireless communication and artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And things related to that. So,
which I found very interesting that one of the devices that you have worked on off of your website was we do some drone work. Steve has been known to fly the drone into evergreen trees.
You fly into one tree,
and it's over.
And one tree.
One tree.
It only happened once
on a 5-star golf course.
Oh,
but I'm not saying anything.
No, I thought to carry spares all the time.
I fought the tree, and the tree won.
But you have a device that can go on a drone, and it actually identifies people and objects and things, and keeps it away from objects. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so one of the projects that we did actually for the Navy was to develop a autonomous drone that it's autonomous because it incorporates artificial intelligence. So we've trained the drone to basically look for different kinds of objects using a very low-cost monocular camera. Now, what that means is typically on more high-priced drones, you're going to have stereoscopic or stereo-type cameras, so you can see a lot of color, depth, all these different features, and it's easier to navigate. But what if you had something that was kind of attritable, could be sacrificed, could be used out in a very...
a drone sacrifice?
A drone sacrifice.
Are you flying it into a volcano? What are you doing?
That's a good point, yeah. But they are looking at these attritable drones that, if you lose them, they don't cost much. We can always replace them, and we have swarms of them. Yeah. But the idea is to use a monocular, low-cost camera. It's lightweight, inexpensive, and it looks at scales of gray and depth. It doesn't look at color. It doesn't look at all these fancy features, and it still accomplishes the mission. It still can navigate around trees. It can differentiate between snow and water and land, et cetera, et cetera. So you get the idea.
Yeah.
And the idea is, the military does recon missions. They do recon surveillance and intel missions, and they need these kinds of devices to kind of scan the environment and get an idea of what's happening. Who's
So
out
where does
there,
that
what's
fit
out
into
there.
your organization? Is it the primary? Is it a project? Give us the whole scope here.
Yeah. So let me give you the bigger picture. We cover the 5 C's. So at Andro Computational Solutions, we do research and development for the government across the 5 C's. Those are communications, command and control. That's where the drones fit in. Cyber, wireless cyber, and computing. Computing, if you think of your cell phone and you think of any kind of device or radio or IoT, Internet of Thing device, a wireless device, we can actually do AI computations on those devices, so the devices become what are called edge devices. You're no longer working with the tower concept of 5G. You're working with edge devices at the tactical edge, and that's the difference. The work that we're doing is more and more pushing this model from a north-south tower model to an east-west horizontal edge model. And that's going to start changing more and more of the communications landscape in the future. So I won't say less towers, but over time you're going to see towers kind of more widely dispersed and not so concentrated.
Will satellite ultimately control wireless devices, phones and things like that?
It won't control it per se, but it'll continue to work with it because we always need satellites to get across the planet.
Right, but if I'm out in the Adirondacks and I'm not within the shot of a tower, and I have no cell service, is there ever a point where I'll be able to connect to a satellite and use my phone?
Absolutely, you can do that now.
Well, I haven't been lost in the woods in a while, Tom.
Crap.
But it can be an expensive proposition, and so we're still looking at more inexpensive ways to do that can still use surrogate satellites but don't need them. That's the key. So today we can communicate actually without 5G cell towers.
Right.
We can communicate without Wi-Fi and internet. There are ways to do private networks.
Do you make the product or the hardware, or do you just deal with the cerebral part of it?
Well, the cerebral part of it, and we develop it in software. We use embedded software solutions and license those solutions inside of the hardware. We have hardware partners that we work with across the country, and so that's the way it works right now. We license embedded software.
So what do you want the community to know, or maybe future employees to know about the organization?
Yeah, so one of the biggest projects we have right now is called a Future G Center. We're looking to actually establish a Future G Center in the Rome area, which is going to take what we call 5G and 5G Advanced today, with that like AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile are working with. You hear all the commercials on TV.
Right.
We are actually going way beyond that now. We're bringing in newer features, newer capabilities, and we're incorporating artificial intelligence learning capacity in these systems so that they're going to become more autonomous. They can hand off more effectively to the users and to the consumers. And so that's the thing that we're working on. And we're also looking at developing partnerships with large companies, or any company for that matter, including the academic sector. And this is what's going to create this center, this Future G Center. Literally, it will be its own standalone operations. Eventually, it'll be...
and that'll be out of Rome?
It'll likely be out of Rome, although there's interest in the Troy area. There's interest by folks in Albany to do something similar. So this project could have several components to it over time.
So are you hiring right now?
Absolutely.
So real quick, what are you looking for?
We're looking for anybody with wireless 5G experience. There's something called...
A kid that works at a phone store? I mean, what are you talking about?
You'll know how to sell the phone, but you won't know how the phone is made or that per se. But yeah, we're looking at technologists who understand the 5G space and understand this thing called ORAN, Open Radio Access Networks. And that's a whole different world.
And they're going to be on the front edge of stuff. These are people that this is leaning in. This is
on the bleeding edge.
Absolutely.
We call it the bleeding edge.
Bleeding edge, right.
And what makes it bleeding edge is this AI that we're throwing into this whole thing, is training these systems to know how to operate, recognize, hand off, adjudicate all of these fancy things that radios and devices don't do today yet, but they're getting there.
So you're curious. You're going to find everything at androcs.com. and drocs.com. It's all there, right?
It's all there.
They can
It's all
learn about
there.
it. We appreciate you bringing us up to speed today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.